What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's doing well out there. For today's video, I want to go over 5 pieces of advice / topics I would give to the young guitar player out there who wants to elevate their playing to the next level. So let's go. So when it comes to our individual guitar journey, they're all different. I started picking up the guitar when I was 12, 13 years old after I'd watched School of Rock. You know, I wanted to be like Zach Mooneyham. And my first guitar reflected that, being a Epiphone Les Paul 100 in the Sunburst colorway, because that's the guitar I thought he was playing in the ending jam. Years later, I realized it's a Gibson. But when it comes to learning guitar, I wish I, maybe had a clearer roadmap. Today's video kind of reflects that. 5 things I would tell young guitar players that, in my experience with teaching Zooms, really can take your playing to the next level, especially with time and effort and consistency. The first one being learn songs. I'm almost positive when we all started playing guitar, we had a friend or a guitar teacher, and very quickly we learned chords, right? We learned chords probably such as C major, A major, G major, E major, and D major. I'm sure we also learned E minor, A minor, and then if we were feeling excited, we would do our F major. And you'd be surprised how many of our favorite recordings are cowboy chords just like that. You know, the previous scene was Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, a legendary recording, all cowboy chords. Learning songs really gives you the instant satisfaction of making music. The last thing that I would tell people is, you know, start with scales and this kind of stuff, because if you don't know where it goes, you're kind of stuck. It's like you have the ingredients, but you don't know what to cook with them, right? So if you can have the songs, you're making music. So during the song learning process, it's pretty hard to hide from fills, melodies, solos that you hear in your favorite songs. And where do you sort of begin with that? Scales. I'm sure a lot of us, after we learned, let's say, our C major chord, we quickly learned our matching C major scale. Not essentially, all our information is right there. The tough part is when you're playing and say, they're soloing in an upper register and it's still C major. How do I get there? Or they're soloing maybe starting low and then moving high and then moving higher. What's that? Caged system, right? And I believe when you're ready, you dive into the caged system at your own pace, because the caged system will take this same C major scale and expand it to 5 different playing fields across the instrument, right? That's all C major scale. In learning the caged system, you'll realize that you're going root to root. So you can create your own different passages. You can do stuff like all C major scale. Along the C major scale, or I guess caged system, is pentatonics. Major and minor pentatonics. In the same format, right? So for example, if we take it from what we call our A shape C major scale, our major pentatonic, and our minor pentatonic, right? If we take it from our G position of C major scale, major, major pentatonic, minor pentatonic, and you repeat in the remaining positions. You'll be so surprised how much ground you can cover with that idea of caged. Take your major scale, then you can modify it to your minor pentatonic, major pentatonic, your minor scale, your modes, and the whole fingerboard opens up. So you're learning your songs, diving into some theory with the caged system, applying that to major scales, pentatonics. Maybe you heard the Grateful Dead and you want to learn modes, right? But then you hear this. What? What are those 3-note chords? Triads. Triads are 3-note chords built off of the root, the 3rd, and the 5th degree of their scale. I also describe triads as chords in their smallest form. So let's see C major chord. C major scale. Chord being root, 3rd, 5th. Root, 3rd, and 5th. So in C, C, E, G. And that right there is a C major triad. Here, is a C major triad as well, but in first inversion, meaning the third degree, this E, is our lowest note. And then finally on strings 1, 2, 3, we have C major triad in second inversion. Our fifth degree, G, is our lowest note, C, E. That's C major triad. If we take it to how I first learned them, like this. So when you hear Stairway to Heaven and you hear triads, E minor, D major, C major, back to D major. Triads. When you hear triad, D, E flat, E. When you hear John Mayer do triad, this C is a C major triad in first inversion. Our E, third degree, is our lowest note. Triads allow you to play really any song anywhere on the fingerboard. And you'll be surprised how many songs include just 3-note chords. It's really incredible. So you're learning songs. You're practicing your scales. You understand triads. How can we take those 3 things and take it to the next level? Transcribing. Take your favorite song. I played in the beginning, Wish You Were Here. Take Let It Be by the Beatles. Hotel California. Stairway to Heaven. It can be any song. Waiting on the World to Change. Learn the song and play as much as you can with the recording. You know, a big one for me was Stairway to Heaven. You know, when I think everybody, when they first learn, when you learn for the first time, the intro phrase to that solo, it was just mind blown, right? Transcribing takes everything we just talked about and applies it in the best form, right? You know, because now you're sort of seeing these chords, but seeing them in much finer detail, right? And you're identifying where the artist played those chords. You're seeing the scale as you understand the foundation. Now you're applying it. You're taking these triads and saying, well, if he's playing it here, I can also play it here as well. You know, I can play it anywhere I want because I know my triads. And then now you just played a full song just like the artist did. So I cannot stress the importance of transcribing, learning songs from the record, playing along with them. That's when all of these previous topics really come to fruition. So we talked about a lot. Everything from learning songs, scales, triads, applying these to transcribing. Where do we go from here? And that's practice. That's you understanding that it's okay to play a lot of guitar, but also to practice and take your playing to the next level. And only you can decide how far you want to go. With the scales, it's, looking at my notes here, with the scales, it's a lot of understanding that this can move all over the place. Right? That's all C major scale. It's understanding that I can do adding a fill that's just C major. Or I can do, there's an F triad, right? It's taking songs like, we did a lot of classic rock. Let's say in the Grateful Dead world, I talk about that a lot on my channel. A song like Terrapin. But breaking that into its smallest form, right? The same chord progression, but on top 3 strings. That's the triad part. The solo part. It's understanding and practicing and transcribing and playing along, to the inspiration. All that. It's putting everything we talked about and applying it and practicing it. And most importantly, having fun with it. The fun really kicks into place. And I think a lot of this kicks into place is when you find the music that connects with you, that makes you want to pick up the instrument, that makes you want to dissect it more, right? It's almost like your favorite dish and you want to sort of, why does it work? And that's when you get in the kitchen, start mixing ingredients, start, seeing other people make it, read the history of the chef, etc. but with music. You understand the song, the chord progression, what was the gear used? You may think they play it in the middle part of the neck, but they actually play it lower. That's where the fun really kicks in. So practice, have fun, combine all these topics we talked about today, and you will see over time, your playing will vastly improve. Well, all right, guys, that is today's video. If you want to go way more in depth with this one-on-one, I do offer Zoom lessons, and all my info is in the description below. So with all that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.